February 29th is going to be a big day for Final Fantasy VII fans as the saga continues with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Cloud. Tifa and Aerith's adventure continues into the open world as they leave Midgar and plunge deeper into the plot. Today I want to talk about all the news surrounding Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, from the new content about to launch for the demo, along with the information about all the additional content we're going to be getting upon full release. There is a lot to discuss surrounding Rebirth, so please stick with me until the end. My name is Nathan, I cover MMOs and RPGs, so please hit that like button like it owes you money and subscribe for more. So first off, the demo for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is getting a major update on February 21st. It's getting a graphical upgrade for the performance mode, which has Final Fantasy VII Rebirth running at a smooth 60 frames per second and is undoubtably the most popular option. But more exciting than that graphic update is the release of the Junon region, the playable open world area where we'll be getting a taste of how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to play during these more open world sections of the game. We're also getting this Junon region part of the demo on January 21st. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is set to be a massive game with much more content than Final Fantasy VII Remake had. And for those not in the know, Final Fantasy VII Remake was part one of a trilogy that is expanding and fleshing out the story and characters from the original Final Fantasy VII experience that launched back in 1997 on the PlayStation 1. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is part two of this trilogy. Now with Rebirth, the devs have promised more fleshed out side quests that can be completed whenever you choose. One of my complaints about Final Fantasy VII Remake was that the side quests just felt like extra chores to get cool rewards and didn't really add too much to the story. Although it did add some value, it was the actual go kill some of these things and turn it in nature the quests that made it lose a bit of its charm, in my opinion. It looks like Square is addressing this for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and we'll be getting much better quests and much more of them scattered around all of the regions. And since there are many open world areas in Rebirth, we'll need a reason to go off the beaten path and explore the areas, and I'm hoping the new side quests will serve that purpose, along with hopefully fleshing out characters' story arcs and give the world more meaning and purpose. We know for sure that the Golden Saucer is making a huge comeback with tons of mini-games, including 3D Battler, Chocobo Racing, G-Bike, and much more, and that there is a card game included in Rebirth that will give us something extra to do with NPCs throughout the game. So I do believe all these things and trying to get high scores and all that sort of thing is really going to add a lot of content to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. For many of us, the best part of this trilogy of remakes for Final Fantasy VII is that we are getting to know characters from this beloved Final Fantasy so much more intimately, and learning more about them and what drives them forward and their backstories. And Rebirth is promising more of that as well. And that goes beyond just the main characters and into side characters like Biggs and Wedge as well. I'm also happy to report that the combat is staying just as strong as Remake, with that same feel to it and the same general mechanics, but with more options such as the new synergy system that seems to get more powerful with more options depending on choices and bonds we have made during our adventure with the characters we synergize with. Testers have stated that this new system instills a sense of camaraderie and making the party feel united. We still aren't sure how far into the story Rebirth is going to go for sure, but many suggest that it may end somewhere around the big Aerith scene. If you know, you know. But will it turn out the same? Will we be able to change the outcome in Rebirth? Remake seems to hint heavily at our ability to change the future, and we'll just have to wait and see how much power we will be given to change the fates of the characters. The producer of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth says we can expect more twists, but promises that the overall story will link with Advent children, but that leaves a lot of room for changes and surprises. We know that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is around 80 to 100 hours long, and it's over 145 gigabytes in size. And it's no surprise with Square describing it as a multifaceted world with a high degree of freedom. And during gameplay demonstrations, we can see that not only do sections of the open world areas look huge and packed with content, but you'll have multiple ways to traverse the landscape as well, with chocobo breeding making a comeback, allowing you to make different colored chocobos that have different abilities, such as climbing walls, sniffing out treasure, or even straight up flying with the elusive rare black chocobo. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth also has crafting to make new items, armor, or accessories, with some rare items only obtainable by leveling up your craftsmanship to high levels. We also know that there are much more playable characters in Rebirth than there was in Remake, including Cloud, Aerith, Barret, Tifa, Yuffie, Red 13, Kate Sith, even some parts with Sephiroth, Zack, and Vincent likely, it looks like, as well. And that's without going into the fact that we will likely have companions that fight alongside us during the adventure as well, such as Sid. If you already have a Final Fantasy VII Remake save file on your PlayStation 5, you will also be able to get Leviathan or Ramuh summoning material. Square has been hard at work on Rebirth since before Final Fantasy VII Remake's release in 2020, and in only a couple of weeks from the time of this recording, we'll be diving into Final Fantasy Rebirth and enjoying a grand, new, yet familiar adventure. Although Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is releasing as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, we can all but know that it will be coming to PC, just as Remake did later on, and I expect it will be a good conversion as Remake was with the Integrate edition available on Steam. It's also worth noting that work has already began on the development of the third and final title for Final Fantasy VII, and as I've discussed with my chat during live streams, it will likely be called Final Fantasy VII Reunion, keeping with the RE used for the first two titles. Hopefully we don't have to wait 3 years for it, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is looking like a title I will probably play multiple times, just as I have with the Remake. As a matter of fact, Rebirth actually looks much more replayable than Remake did. But for those that haven't played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I suggest you do. It's amazing. But if you want to skip it and go straight into Rebirth, the developer said you certainly can. The game also comes with a 5-minute recap video to catch you up on what has happened so far. However, all the little details, additional character plots, and story bits from Remake that you can only get from playing the game makes it well worth it, in my opinion. With Rebirth right around the corner and a demo to play and experience Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I couldn't be more hyped about this release, and I can't wait to experience it. I'll be streaming it here on this channel on YouTube, as well as Twitch and Kick, so be sure to check it out as I begin my adventure the second it releases for the PlayStation 5. I hope you enjoyed this look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and everything we know about it so far, and please hit that like button and subscribe on your way out, and until next time, my friends, God bless and happy gaming. Thank you to the members on YouTube and the subs on Twitch. Thank you all for joining the Nathan Napalm Nation. You help keep the lights on so I can keep streaming and pumping out content. I want to also thank the highest tier members for their epic support. Bounty Code, Jared Woodhouse, Daimlos, Sparrow, Farthest Reach, Random Rob, Gallery Moonsong, What's the Takeaway, Bad Wolf Gaming, Cobalt, Robert Daneka, Pip Pop, My Boot in Your Ass, The Crinkle One, Scruffy Bard, and Aaron Owen. Thank you for your highest tier membership.